Hello everyone, I'm going to welcome you to another video. Our video today is on capital punishment. Now most of you who know that Jesus in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John might think that Jesus is against capital punishment. But in the Gospel of Saint Avarice, Jesus is for capital punishment. And we're going to talk today about how our president is working hard to fulfill his promises to the most conservative pro-life groups that feel so strongly about capital punishment. We're going to talk about how the president is trying to kill as many inmates as possible before he leaves. It's a remarkable feat. We will then end with a prayer from an evangelical minister who is struggling with some of his parishioners who feel that pro-life means maybe they should be against capital punishment. So, I hope you enjoy. Just when I thought I could not be any prouder of our great president, he goes and outdoes himself again. Despite being defeated, he continues to move forward with his agenda with the support of our loyal Republicans and evangelical leaders who continue to pray for this holy man. While still working so hard to prove that this election was not legitimate and getting absolutely no support from election officials or the courts because they say there's no proof, he still continues his work to remove ridiculous consumer safeguards that only raise the cost of things. He's striving to eliminate job protections that prevent him from removing anyone who proved they were not patriotic by ignoring orders from him because they said that they thought they were inappropriate or probably illegal. This is the president we're talking about. You need to follow orders, you government people. But here is something he is doing that is so close to the hearts of so many of the pro-life people who supported our president. And that includes that Catholic group I shared with you in another video. So instead of sitting on his hands and accepting the label of lame duck, he has ordered that the Justice Department start killing as many inmates on death row as possible. I think it is outstanding that he carries on with this bold initiative led by our Attorney General, who is also a great Catholic. I want to make sure, by the way, that we thank our Attorney General for his great work. Maybe most important, doing that unbelievable interpretation of the Mueller report. I wish I knew the law as well as he did. I immediately jumped to the conclusion that if you break the law, you're guilty and there will probably be consequences. Now, there were some things in there that I thought might end our president's great service to our country. In just a few-page report, our Attorney General was able to let us all know that the president did nothing wrong. Thank you for your service, sir. And also, thank you for making sure all the killings of the inmates are still scheduled despite your departure to be with your family for the holidays. But getting back to the heroic deed of our president doing his best to kill as many inmates on death row before he leaves, can you hear the liberals already? I thought you guys were pro-life. How is executing prisoners on death row pro-life? Well, I'll let Jesus in the Gospel of Saint Avarice explain. Jesus said, Listen to me carefully, all those who constantly preach love and mercy. When someone has taken the life of another, they should be put to death. But Lord, said Philip, I thought we were pro-life. Don't make me explain born versus unborn again, Philip. These people killed other people, so by killing them, we have a sort of a natural balance. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, a life for a life. As always, there are exceptions, said Jesus, especially for our people and the rich and powerful. But Lord, said John, I wrote down last week, love one another as I have loved you. And we learned in Hebrew school, thou shalt not kill. John, said Jesus, you are always the soft one. You always take things I say literally. I, of course, did not mean capital punishment. Hey, you do the crime, you do the time, until your time is up, and then you die. Now that might be harsh for those who are very familiar with the Jesus in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But those were his words from the Gospel of Saint Avarice. And what about our Pope? He obviously did not read my book. Instead of supporting capital punishment, he even changed the Catholic Catechism, where he condemns capital punishment. I need to get him a copy. But thank God for some of our faithful. I went on some evangelical sites, and they point out all the times in the Old Testament killing was accepted and expected. As a matter of fact, they point out that God actually created capital punishment. And I say this again and again. I did not know that. Did you? One even argued that while most theologians agreed that Jesus would be against the death penalty, this evangelical minister said, I must protest. Most theologians, as usual, are wrong. Jesus did support the death penalty. Now, isn't it great? We have such great evangelical leaders who make sure we are not tricked by people who spend so much time studying theology rather than reaching down deep in their heart and expressing how they feel, and maybe go to Wikipedia to check on their beliefs. But back to the president and his carrying out of his strong pro-life stand. We have already had a couple of executions, and they are trying to fit in, they said, at least 4 more. Now, this is just another way our president has made us great again. While most countries in the world have eliminated capital punishment and executions, our country executed 22 people in 2019 through our president's leadership after a 16-year moratorium. But we are still behind some of the great democratic-type countries, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Egypt. But because our president is so pro-life, he will continue to speed up the executions. It's important that we are the greatest in everything. And as usual, I get carried away. But as a former liberal and now a convert to the Jesus in the Gospel of Saint Avarice, I beg you not to fall into the trap that I did, that Jesus was always loving and always merciful. So, this might be a good time to end with a prayer. Now, this prayer was sent to us by Floyd. Floyd. Floyd's an evangelical minister from Jackson, Tennessee. Floyd complains that each year Texas executes many more men than Tennessee. He said that while Texas had 13 executions and Tennessee was second, they only had 3. Well, let's hear Floyd's prayer. Lord, I worked countless hours and preached on numerous Sundays to try to help others understand that all life is precious, including the life of the unborn. I've tried to show my people that killing another human being is a grave sin. But now people want others to believe that the lives of those on death row are also important. They try to say that there are some on death row who have been wrongly charged. But that is such a low percentage, Lord. That should not affect our duty to execute these men. As a matter of fact, Lord, I don't remember you trying to save the guys on the cross. You told the one that he would be with you in heaven. My prayer to you, Lord, and I am just repeating what you said, is that all these terrible convicts on death row, while being sorry for the few innocent ones, they should join you. The sooner the better, and not necessarily in heaven. And we ask all of this in your holy name. Amen. Listen, I understand Floyd's frustration. Floyd, I did a little research, and I can tell you that you can take solace in the fact that murders per 100,000 in Tennessee are much higher than Texas each year. And I'm going to take a wild guess and believe that many of those murdered are the same people who would have ended up on death row to be executed. So your state actually did a great job and even saved money. Your congregation is so lucky to have someone as pro-life as you at the helm. Thanks for the prayer, and thank you to our president who continues to amaze. Until next time, God bless.